Hi everybody. Guess what we're going to do today? Yep, you're right. More operations with sine numbers. So we're going to do adding and subtracting with positive and negative numbers. So let's just jump right in. We've got multiplying and division mastered, I hope, by now. So let's go and do adding and subtracting, and I'm sure we'll cruise right through it as well. So you'll notice that behind me I've got a number line. That's where we're going to start. I'm going to show you two ways to work these. Two ways to handle these signs. One is using a number line every single time. And the other way is to learn the rules and use those. So let's give it a shot. Okay, here's our number line, and just to review, we remember that there's a zero, and then we have our positives, every positive number in the world going into positive infinity over here. And then we have our negatives this way going into negative infinity this way. And we remember that the numbers, as we move to the right, always get larger, and as we move to the left, always get smaller. And we remember that we only really put our integers and our negative integers on there, but that all the fractions and the decimals and the square roots and every number that exists, every real number that exists, is on that number line somewhere. If we wrote them all, we wouldn't be able to read it. So we just write the major ones to help us get our bearing where we are. So let's look back at arithmetic for a minute. You didn't need this so much in arithmetic. You would have there something like, hey, positive 4 and positive 3, and you would probably put positive 7. The only difference is you wouldn't have written all those positives, because why write a bunch of signs if you really don't need to? That's my understanding. That's my idea of the smart way to work this. So I wouldn't even write it this way myself. I would say, hey, let's just do this. 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. And you already know that. But now I'm just drawing to your attention that this is really positive 4 and positive 3, which gives you positive 7. Okay, but I told you I was going to show you two ways, and the first one is the number line. So let's get on this number line, and let's figure out how we would add 4 and 3 if we had to do it with a number line. So here we go. We would start, let's start right here, and we'd say, okay, we're at 4. We're going to go to 4, positive 4. So we're like, okay, we start at 0, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we are. We're at positive 4. So we got 4 apples if you want, but we're at positive 4, 4 somethings. Now we're going to 3 more. So from here we go 1, 2, 3, and this is our answer. Whatever this number is, that's our answer. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is on the positive side. So our solution, our sum, is positive 7. And I bet you're sitting at home saying, I knew that. I don't want to have to do that on the number line. I could do that in 3rd grade. Great. Great, great, great. Okay? Suppose you have this one right here. Suppose you had negative 2 and negative 1. And that maybe you haven't had before. Or maybe it's tricky for you. So let's do it on the number line. We need a new one, so it won't be so crowded. Here's a number line, we'll just put 0 right there because we start at 0. And we say negative 2, go to negative 2. So we're like, okay, negative 2 puts us right there. So there we are. We've taken 2 hops in the negative direction, and that put us right there. 2 steps. This says take another step in the negative direction. One more negative step. One more negative direction step. So we go, okay, one more hop down here. That's our answer. Where we land after we do both of the hops on the number line, both of the movements, where we end up, that's our answer. So we ended up right here. That was negative 1, that was negative 2, that was negative 3. So that's our solution. That's our sum, negative 3. Easy. Just draw a number line for every single problem, and you can figure them out that way. So let's do another one. Let's do, let's say we've got 4 and negative 2. Now, if there are any of you happen to be saying, I already know the answer, you know why you already know it? You already know the rule. You already know the rule. But if you don't know the rule, what have you got to do? Number line. So here we go. Here's a number line. Start at 0. Start at 0. We go to positive 4. We go 4 in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. Step 1 takes us to positive 4. Now it says, now turn around and go 2 steps in the negative direction. So direction. 2 steps in the negative direction. So we're like, okay, here we are. Now we go back 1, 2 steps in the negative direction. And that right there, make it really big so we can see it. That's our answer. What is that? Well, we got to count. 1, positive 1, positive 2. So our solution, our sum, is positive 2. Our answer, positive 2. Is it the same as 4 minus 2? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there's your understanding on the number line. Positive direction, negative direction. Let's do another one. This time, let's say we're going to have negative 2. And we're going to add to that a negative 3. Okay, now where do we start? 0. Okay, let's start at 0. And then let's hop over to negative 2 in the negative direction. And so here we are at 0. So we start here and we go 1, 2. So we go 1, 2. That's our movement. And now we're at negative 2. So we've done that. Now we're going to add to that some more jumps, if you will. We're going to go down negative 3 more. Or we're going to go 3 more jumps in the negative direction. So it says, negative direction, move 3, like a game. So here we go. From here, we go 3 more. So that would be 1, 2, 3. So this would be our answer. Where you land after all of your movements, that's your solution. Well, we're at 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So our solution, our sum, is negative 5. So when we added a negative and a negative, we got a negative. Now, that's one way. I told you I was going to show you 2 ways. One way was with the number line. So that's method number 1, we could say. Or method number 2, which says, you know what, if you want to learn a few rules based on this, you could save yourself a lot of drawing and figuring. So let's look at the other way, and then you can choose. You can choose. Okay, the other way says, it really bases it on this one. So for instance, I'm going to draw a line under here to separate the 2 ways. Let's say something we already know. Positive 5, positive 3. Now I know you know from elementary school 5 and 3 is 8, right? And you know it's positive because why would it be negative if you were adding 2 positives? But think of the number line. You go 5 to the right, 3 more to the right, you're at 8 to the right. You're at positive 8. Yeah, very logical, isn't it? Very logical. Okay? So I think we're really good on this one. I don't think anybody would need a number line on this one ever. So if you saw something like a positive 2 and positive 4 and positive 6, as long as they're all positives, they're all jumping to the right. They jump 2, they jump 4, they jump 6. How many jumps all together? That would be 12 jumps to the right. Answer, positive 12. If they're all jumping in the same direction, that's the sign you use. So if I'm going positive jump to the right, to the right, to the right, then I'm down at the right. So if these are the same jumps going in the same direction, then that will be my solution. So if I'm adding all positives, doesn't matter how many, I'm going to get a positive. Okay? Rule number 1, positive plus a positive is a positive. You already knew that one anyway, so I started with an easy one. Okay, let's switch to a different color. We'll go back to black for this next one. Okay, but this next one, let's say that we're going to have -4. Now remember, on the number line, just think the number line. Don't have to draw it, just think it for a minute. You're starting at 0 and you're going 4 to the left. That's what that means. 4 spaces to the left of 0. So that you're sitting there, you got this invisible number line in your mind. You're at -4, and you're going to hop down one more to the left. How do you know to the left? Because it's going to say -1. So I'm at -4, then I'm going to -1. Well, if I've gone -4 and then another negative, don't I have to be on the negative side of the number line? Yeah. So my solution is -5. If you think it through every time, you'll do better than if you just try to memorize these, I believe. And then after a while, you won't have to think them through every time because you will know them so well. And that is your goal. So we go down 4 to the left, one more to the left, so we get -5. Let's do another one. Let's suppose we've got -1 and -2 and another, and then -1 again. And we're on the number line now, mentally, just mentally. So we start at 0, we go -1 to the left one jump, and then 2 more. Think about where that takes you, -1 to 3, and then down again, which takes you to 4. And if you're going to the left, to the left, to the left, well, you're to the left, right? Correct? I don't want to say right. Correct? So you go to the left, to the left, to the left. You're landing in the left. Negative means I'm to the left of 0. That's really what it means. Okay, we'll practice some more in just a minute. All right. Let's take another one here. Let's take a situation where we're starting at 0 mentally, just mentally, and we're going 7. +7. You want me to write the sign or not? Let's do this time. You know it does not matter. So we go from 0, we go over to 7. Then we go -2. So what we've done, you can guess the answer if you want to, but what we've done is from 0, we've hopped over to +7. We've gone 7 to the right. We've turned around and gone 2 back to the left. So where do we end up? Right, +5. Excellent, excellent. Just like right here, we went over 4, and then we were here, and then we turned around and went 2 back to the left. 1, 2, and then it's where you end up. That is your answer. Move forward to the right, backwards 2 to the left. You're going to still be in the positive, and you're going to have backed up only 2, so you're at 5. All right, let's do this one. Let's say we've got -8 and +3. And we're going to combine those. Now, I don't want to say add and I don't want to say subtract because it's kind of confusing for some of us. I'm just going to say combine them. It just means put them together. So I want you to mentally see a number line, or you can draw one if you'd like. Start at 0, and here we go. We go 8 to the what? Left. So we go 8 to the left. We're like way down here at 8. Go 8 to the left. And then if the sign changes, we turn around and go in the other direction. So from 8, we turn around and go positive. That means to the right, 3 jumps. So we're down here at -8. We turn around and we go 1, 2, 3 that way, because that's to the right. That's positive. So if we do that, the only thing is to figure out where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Well, you know what? We can see that we're still on the negative side. And we went 8, and then we turned back and kind of undid it 3. So we're at 7, 6, 5. -5. -5. And you see, even though I said you don't have to draw a number line on those, if you're just beginning to learn this, you're still thinking about the number line every time. Or maybe You might even still be drawing it every time, and that's fine. That's beautiful if you would like to do that. You know, the sooner you can move to the shortcuts, the better, but don't go too soon. Don't go too soon. So I want you to try to help me think of these rules so that for the ones who don't want to draw the number lines each and every time, as I said, we do have different learning styles, how we can come up with some rules that will work every time. Okay, let's put those rules right here. Let's put them right here in this space. Right over here, we'll put them in this frame. Well, I think we already know what happens if you add a positive and a positive, don't we? Yeah, I don't think, do we even need to write that down? Because we so know it, but we will. If we're adding a positive 2, I don't want to write the number though. If we're adding a positive, and then we're adding to that another positive, we've got a positive number plus a positive number, then we have to get a positive number. We've moved in the positive direction only on the number line, so we have to get a positive, don't we? Yeah. Okay, let's do the negative one. Let's say, well, what if you've got a negative, your first number, so you're going to the left, and then your addition, your next step that you're going to add to that step is also going to be a negative. So I've gone down to the negative, and I've gone some more. This just means and keep going. And I've gone some more negative. So where am I? Well, I have to be negative, because all I've done is gone to the negative and gone some more to the negative. I think we can get that one too. Okay? Next one. Let's watch this one carefully. This one we really need to think about. What if we have a positive number and then we are adding to that a negative number? Or we have a positive jump and then from there we're going to make a negative jump. What is happening on our number line? We're going in the positive direction, however far, and then we're going to turn around and go the negative direction. That's what we're going to do. So we're going 2 different directions. And your sign over here is going to be where you land. I don't know. I don't know whether we're going to land in the positive or we're going to land in the negative. What does that depend on? Think about that. I mean, if I had a positive 5 and then a negative 20, I've gone a lot farther in the negative direction. So my answer would be negative. Okay? But what if I had a positive 10, jumped over 10 to the right, and then turned around and went negative 1? I would still be way over there in the positive. So how do we determine whether we're going to be in the positive or in the negative if we have one of each? That's exactly right. Someone said we're going to use the sign of the larger number. So let's do some of these. If I'm adding a positive 7 and a negative 2, it's going to be positive. If I'm adding a negative 10 and a positive 1, it's going to be negative. Okay, if I'm adding a negative 3 and a positive 7, it's going to be positive, right? So you see, if you've got different signs, you can't say for sure whether it's going to be positive or negative until you get the numbers in place. And whichever one is larger, it's going to take you to that side of the number line. So it's the sign of larger every time. How do you know what the number's going to be? I mean, if I go 7 to the right and negative 2, turn around and go the other way, yeah, I used the sign of the larger. How do you get 5? I mean, if I don't want to write a number line every time, I really need to get it that I just need to subtract these. 7 minus 2 is 5 because I'm turning around and going the other direction on the number line, and it's like backtracking my steps. It's like erasing 2 of my steps. It's like subtracting 2 of my steps away, taking them away, taking them away. So here I'm way down there at -8 on the left. I turn around, I go 3 on the right. I'm still on the negative side. Sign of the larger numeral here is certainly negative. Subtract, just without looking at the signs, 8 minus 3 is 5. We need to practice some of those, but those are the rules. So whether you're going to end up being a rule person, which I hope you will eventually, but not until you're ready, or whether you like to draw the number line every time, eventually I want you to practice this and practice this until you master it, and it is no problem for you. Really quickly, and then we will finish this. Let's take some of these. You say the answer before I write it down, and then you can check and see if you're right or not. +3, +1. Got your answer? +4, +10, +6. Got your answer? +16. Good. All right, this is all negative jumps. Negative to the left, negative again to the left. So we're to the left. So here we go. -3 and -4 is, get your answer, -7. Great. -1, -6. And count down there. You're down at -1. You got to go 6 more. And put you down at negative for sure. -7 again. All right, what if you've got -5, +9? Well, you're negative, and then you turn around and go positive. The biggest number is 9. So it's going to throw you down there on the positive side. Sign of the larger is positive. Because if you did do the number line, it would put you on the positive end. And then if one sign is positive and one is different, you have turned around and taken away some steps, so you subtract 9 minus 5 and get 4. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Although I meant to put that one over here because it's that kind. Okay. All right, let's see how fast we can go. You know, I'd like to do this, so let's just see. -1, +4, get your answer. Sign of the larger, subtract. Let's do another one. +5, -3, get your answer. Sign of the larger, 5 minus 3, 2. Good. All right, let's do this one. -4, +6, get your answer. +2. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's see what happens on this one. +5, so we start at 0, we go to 5. Then we turn around and we go 5 the other way. Where do we end up? Think about it. 5, backwards 5, we erase everything. We're back to where we started. +5, -5 is equal to 0. You've got lots of practice you can download and check yourself. You can make copies and practice them over and over again until you have, let me hear you say it, mastered it. Very good.